All right, sports fans, how's everyone out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, this season, the Los Angeles Clippers are showing what they can be when they're healthy, but you still got to hold your breath with this team. Through 42 games this season, the Clippers are 28 and 14, which includes them winning 25 of their last 32. LA is currently fourth in the Western Conference, and they came into play today just 2 games out of the top spot. Now they're 2.5 due to the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves, won earlier tonight. Now you got 4 future Hall of Famers on this team, and for the most part, they've been healthy. I'm going to touch on that, in a moment. I'm talking, and with that said, of course, the big focus still is on Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. But then you look at Ty Lue as a head coach, and honestly, Ty Lue's had to do a lot with less, during his time with the Clippers, is due to the fact of the injuries over the last several years to both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. But I still like the job that Tyronn Lue, and you know what? You're bringing it all together. And that's, that comes back to his ability to get it done as a head coach. And I think he's doing a phenomenal job this season. And, with that said, Clipper basketball is in effect as they came into play today with the best field goal percentage from behind the 3-point line in the NBA this season, and they're fifth in field goal percentage overall. Now, at the end of the day, because we know that there are some teams out there that will just jack up threes for the purpose of jacking up threes. But, at the end of the day, it's not how many threes you take, but how effective you are or they are when you take them. And, picking up James Harden, of course, this is where James Harden wanted to be. And then, having Russell Westbrook come off the bench. And of course, credit to Russell Westbrook because he did that voluntarily. Why? Because it wasn't working out with all 4 of them in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season. And I don't think that throughout Russell Westbrook's NBA career that he's gotten enough credit, for not being a selfish guy. Russell Westbrook, at the end of the day, he's not going to be a guy that's going to win a 3-point contest. I get that. But Russell Westbrook is a guy that's going to give you everything that he has on a night in and night out basis. And, it's one of those where Russ comes off the bench, it makes your bench that much stronger. You still have a solid starting 5, of course, with James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. And as a team right now, the Clippers have 6 guys that are currently averaging in double figures in points once you add Norman Powell and Ivica Zubac to that mix. And then again, like I said, it's all about this team being able to stay healthy. Paul George is currently day to day with a groin injury. We've seen Kawhi Leonard bounce back strong this season, averaging nearly 24 points per game. Paul George averaging 23 and a half. James Harden averaging more than 17. So you look at it, the numbers are there and the talent is there. But of course, this Clippers team is going to be judged solely by what they are able to or not able to do in the postseason. And I think whatever it comes down to for the Clippers, I think it just comes down to their ability to stay healthy. I mean, no Kawhi last year. We saw what they could have done to the Phoenix Suns last year in game number 1 in that series. And that was had the makings of being a good series until the injuries, really flared up and we saw Paul George go down and the rest was history. But nonetheless, you're talking about Paul George and Kawhi when they're healthy, 2 of the better perimeter defenders in the league. That changes a lot with what you're able to do defensively. So, at the end of the day, again, it just comes down to whether or not this team can stay healthy. And I mean, if the Clippers can stay healthy, maybe this is the year that they finally break through and get to the NBA Finals. I'm just saying, hypothetically. We saw them get to the Western Conference Finals 3 years ago for the first time in franchise history. And of course, last year, more setbacks with injuries. But nonetheless, I can't harp on it enough. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to sound like a broken record. But this is the biggest what if in the NBA right now, because if the Clippers are healthy, this will be a dangerous team. And I think that's important because the Clippers desperately, and I know that they've been trying more since Steve Ballmer took over as the team's owner to try to get out of that Lakers shadow. And I mean, it's a huge shadow that the Lakers cast with all of those championship appearances, all of those championship titles, all of those Hall of Famers. And then the fact that you share the same arena. I think that's something that Steve Ballmer is working on clearly. Their arena in Inglewood is coming together. And I think that's going to be big for the Clippers going forward. So maybe just now they can really give their fans, something to really be happy about this spring with a deep playoff run. But like I said, if the Los Angeles Clippers can stay healthy, this is going to be a very dangerous team. And again, you got to expect to make them to make some type of move at the trade deadline to get some more depth, possibly on the bench as well. But nonetheless, if the Clippers are healthy and they're clicking on all cylinders, this is going to be a very formidable team. Interesting stretch for them coming up right now as LA is set to begin a 7 game road trip tomorrow night. Usually don't have them that long in the NBA, but nonetheless, this is what the Clippers are facing. They open up tomorrow night in Toronto against the Raptors. Very interesting game on Saturday night at the Boston Celtics. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers on this trip, as well as a meeting with the Miami Heat. But nonetheless, if this team can stay healthy come springtime, the Clippers will definitely be very formidable in the NBA playoffs. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.